Welcome back to the Cossy channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. The Athletic are reporting that Arsenal want to sign 3 forwards this summer. And apart from a centre forward, the other 2 names that have been repeatedly mentioned in recent days have been Eze and Rodrygo. That means there is a world where Arsenal could sign a centre forward, Eze and Rodrygo. Could Arsenal do a double deal for Rodrygo and Eze in the same summer? Is it possible financially? Also in terms of Mikel Arteta, does he want it to happen? We're going to be answering all those questions. These are very different players in terms of profile, but they play in the same positions. Wide attackers who can play as number 10s, and Eze can also deputize as a left 8 for Declan Rice or an attacking right 8 for Martin Odegaard. Now, in my opinion, if you asked me today, should Arsenal do the deal for Rodrygo and Eze? Should we do the double signing? I would close my eyes and say absolutely yes, go and do the deal. But there's so many factors that actually stand in the way of these deals. One, you have players like Kai Havertz, you have players like Mikel Merino, and if you brought in Eze and also brought in Rodrygo, that means that Eze becomes essentially a midfielder. You have players like Fabio Vieira as well, and Arsenal might have a lot of work to do in terms of offloading, and maybe that's why the Eze deal at times might actually break down. But let's talk about the possibility of Arsenal signing both of them and how we could actually do the deal if it is possible. Now, Fabrizio has said that Eze is a player Arsenal are looking at and discussing in recent weeks as one of the options for left wing. But he says the dream is to sign Rodrygo. Arsenal dream about Rodrygo. They feel he's the right profile for that position. He's comfortable on the right, on the left-hand side. He can invert just like Mikel Arteta wants him. And he's one of those players that whatever they do, they end up in the penalty area. It's actually one of the reasons why I want him at Arsenal. When you think about Nico Williams, when you think about Anthony Gordon, these players always finish in the penalty area. They don't look to cross the ball a lot. They don't look to just hit it and hope someone meets it. They will carry the ball, arrive into the penalty area, and deliver. So I understand why Mikel Arteta really wants to sign Rodrygo. But I also understand why Mikel Arteta would want a profile like Eze. I mean, think about it. You're signing a number 9. And like I said yesterday, number 9s are like dogs, right? They want to be fed, otherwise they are useless. So if you get a number 9 and you have Martin Odegaard, you might need another creative player, a specialist at finding the runs of your number 9. Eze can actually do that. And Eze stands out from Kai Havertz and Mikel Merino. Now, Mikel Merino can be an attacking midfielder, can be deployed as such, and Kai Havertz at Leverkusen before has played as an attacking midfielder. But these are very different profiles of attacking midfielders and number 10s. Eze is the kind of number 10 we are used to. Like, we are used to Ozil, we are used to Santiago Cazorla, we are used to Sami Nasri. Those players that double as 8s and 10s, but essentially what they do is to create. Think about Fabregas. When you think about Kai Havertz, and when you think about Mikel Merino as attacking midfielders, they're players that want to be in the penalty area and score a lot of goals themselves. So you might find Kai Havertz with about 7 assists and maybe 16 goals or 13 goals or 14 goals. They are more of attacking midfielders that score goals rather than create chances. And for Arsenal to sign a number 9 and benefit from that signing, we might need players that are selfless and players that are willing to let the ball go to the number 9. Eze makes a lot of sense. Now, can a double deal happen? Well, I think initially Arsenal's plan was not to sign Eze or a profile like Eze and Rodrygo. But we might be forced this summer. How? So if you think about it, Rodrygo is the target, he's the dream. But Rodrygo from Real Madrid is going to take a lot of time. This is a deal that could be done late in August. So if Arsenal are going to do this deal late in August rather than early in July or early in June, it means that either Andrea Bata and Mikel Arteta have to be patient and trust that Rodrygo will eventually arrive, or what we could do, we could sign a player that can play in all the other areas on the pitch, but can also deputize as a left winger. That is where Eberechi Eze comes in. So I think Arsenal can do this. They can go out there and sign Eberechi Eze for 60 million and put that deal there. Of course, you've signed him as a left winger, and we might start a season with Eberechi Eze as our left winger. But really that doesn't change anything, because Eze has so many positions that he can play in this Arsenal team, right? So I can see Arsenal go and sign Eze for 60 million, and then that means that whatever happens with Rodrygo, Arsenal will not have any excuses. We have signed a left winger, although Eze is not that typical left winger, but him playing on the left hand side and drifting inside would create many chances for Arsenal, and it would create a lot of spaces for Šeško or Gyökeres to run into. Then after signing Eberechi Eze, maybe in July, he joins us for pre-season and everything is okay. Then Madrid in late July or early August or late August could actually decide and say, you know what? We are selling Rodrygo this summer. He's going to go. We are going to let him go. And then, again, as Arsenal, that's when you spring into action, you come back and you take advantage. Because if we have the money, Rodrygo is a deal that we shouldn't leave on the market. Don't let it go to Madrid, sorry, to Man City. Don't let that deal go to Liverpool. Don't let that deal go to Manchester United. Go and do it yourself. So I think Mikel loves Rodrygo, but he understands the difficulty of the deal, and Andre Bata also understands the complexity of such a deal. So what Arsenal could do first, go and sign Eberechi Eze and secure someone in that position. Someone to push Martinelli, someone to push Leandro Trossard. After all, we already have players in that position. And then if a market opportunity or if it just manifests itself once again towards the end of the window, you do the Rodrygo deal. That is one way Arsenal can sign both Rodrygo and Eze. The second way Arsenal can sign both of them is if we let go of some players. Now, this is a little bit unrealistic, but it is possible, and I think Arsenal should look into it, right? When you think about Eberechi Eze, is he better than Kai Havertz? Yes, he is better than Kai Havertz. Of course, Kai Havertz is kind of a center forward, but this is only to fool us around. We know the truth. The truth is that Kai Havertz was signed as a midfielder, and Mikel Arteta somehow duplicated a role that Kai Havertz did very well, right? Or Mikel Merino and Fabio Vieira. If Arsenal offloaded one of Mikel Merino and Fabio Vieira, there would be need for us to sign an attacking midfielder. An attacking midfielder with a profile that Arsenal need. An attacking midfielder with a profile that we actually don't have right at the moment. A very creative one, right? So, for me, I think if Arsenal could let go of some players, maybe Havertz and Merino, or maybe Merino and Vieira, we might actually create some space for a player like Eze in this team. Why does it make sense for me, right? We have been crying out for creativity and goals. I don't think that signing two players just like that solves all Arsenal's problems in terms of offensive play last season. What were these problems? Arsenal were too blunt in terms of facing mid-blocks, and Arsenal were out of ideas when we played low blocks. What do you need? What you need is intelligent players with intelligent minds. Now, Eze is that player, but also Rodrygo is that player. And you also need brave players that are willing to take risks. Shoot from outside the penalty area, and then try something special. Eberechi Eze again is that player. How many times have we seen Arsenal players shoot from outside the penalty area? Not so many. Odegaard tried to do it against Donnarumma, and what a save. But we need to see more of that, and also on the final day of the season. And then Martinelli rarely does it. Declan Rice has scored a couple of those outside the penalty area, but we need to see more, right? So Eberechi Eze could be that guy that you sign to complement and supplement the abilities and quality you get from your skipper in Martin Odegaard. And I'm really, really serious. I think the signing of a player like Eze could actually take the weight off the shoulders of Odegaard, and it might actually make him better. That is Eze. Obviously, with Rodrygo, mid blocks, he's got the best run in behind. He can carry the ball at a terrific speed. Low blocks, he can literally dodge players and remove bodies. He can move bodies out of the way and create chances for himself and others as well. This is the ultimate uplift Mikel Arteta needs. This is the ultimate uplift that Arsenal would be needing, in my opinion. Because look at it. Manchester United are signing Buemo and they're signing Cunha and they want number 10. Manchester City have signed Ryan Sharkey, right, as an attacking player. They already have Savinho, Doku, and Haaland. Make sense? And Phil Foden, by the way. And then Liverpool. They have signed Florian Wirtz. They have Mohamed Salah. They are looking to sign a striker after selling Darwin Núñez. And, of course, you've got the likes of Szoboszlai, you've got the likes of Jota, and the others. It shows you that you must have exceptional quality in order for you and for you to go and achieve exceptional things. PSG have shown it to us very well. They hammered this Inter Milan side 5. But why did they do that? And how did they do that? Quality, right? You have Bakola, you have Doué, you have Dembele, you have Zai Emery on the bench, you have Kavichi Kvaratskhelia. They literally have quality in abundance. I think that's what Arsenal need. And for us to have that, a player like Rodrygo and a combination of him with Eze arriving at the Emirates Stadium this summer makes us different. Imagine the starting 11. Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard. And on the bench is Eberechi Eze and Mikel Merino. Ready to come on whenever you want them to come on. And up top, you have Rodrygo, Šeško, and Saka. On the bench is Kai Havertz, ready to come on, Martinelli, hungry to come on, Wanweri, hungry to come on, and Leandro Trossard. Do you notice a difference? All the players that we used to rely on so much would literally become our go-to game changers. Right? You don't need to really pray that Martinelli becomes so good. No. If Rodrygo is not good in that game, Martinelli can come in and change the game. If he doesn't, Trossard will. Right? It's the same thing. We need players that can come from the bench and really change a game. And we also need players for certain game stats and certain game profiles. So Eze, for me, is a player that is more suited to a low block than Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard is more suited to an open game than Eberechi Eze. Because when you think about Eze, he's this guy that has got the ability to unlock any defense. Like, he's that player. And of course, Odegaard does that very well as well, right? But Eberechi Eze, when it comes to low blocks, when it comes to tight spaces, oh boy. Remember that goal he scored against Arsenal last season, by the way? The volley? That was beautiful. So Eberechi Eze is that guy that Arsenal could actually use in terms of just carrying the ball and going through players in a mid-block or even in a low block, together with Rodrygo. Then Odegaard, in terms of open games, Aston Villa, Newcastle, these games where we are going to be attacked and then be given the chance to attack, that is Odegaard's game. Because he's going to pick up that ball and just one pass, the whole defense is going to be in shatters. So, Eze is important. Rodrygo is important. Arsenal should do these deals at the same time if we can. Financially, there is obviously a concern. But like I've already said, Arsenal had 50 million to spend on Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth. That alone told me that Arsenal have enough money to deal with any situation this summer. Get that 50 million that you were, because this is what Arsenal are trying to do. They're trying to sign Joan Garcia for 20 million from Espanyol. So we signed Kepa instead for 5. We have 15 million, right? And then we tried to sign Dean Huijsen for 50 million from Bournemouth. Get that 50 million plus the extra cash from the goalkeeper deals and sign Eze, right? Because it will come in handy. Honestly, if you think about the quality in midfield that a team like Man City have and Liverpool, it's crazy. Because Liverpool have got McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and now Florian Wirtz. Hmm? I've not talked about Endo. Is it called Endo or Wendo? I think it's called Endo, right? Yeah. I've not talked about Endo as well. And they have Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones. There's a lot of quality there, man. A lot of quality. So you think about City with Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, Kovacic, Rodri, Nico Gonzalez, Phil Foden. There's a lot of quality there. And of course, the young stars as well, right? There's a lot of quality. But when you think about this Arsenal team, Rice and Odegaard and Zubimendi, basically that's it, right? So let's add a player like Eze to allow Waneri grow and to allow Waneri to grow into a better player. Now, for me, if you ask me, this is a double signing that I would be dying to see.